Christina Universe Citizen presents In the Beginning, September 29, 2023. Eternally Regenerative Vector Equilibrium. Objective intellect as a function of potential, knowable, omnirational universe becomes aware and is synergetically informed of the vector equilibrium as the equanimity model. Initially, it was the scales of justice that came to my mind as a comparison that stands between weighable differences. Those scales of justice supposedly balance two sides. I was not thinking then, decades ago, of the increasingly imbalanced, complicated ratios and all else to perplex the human mind in the human condition. Such perplexities preoccupy volumes of seemingly irresolute, politically enacted insults to our human intelligence, as strategic game plans are played against equanimity, disturbing evenness of mind, adding layers of stress to the already impossible demands of the economics of daily life. Those demands expect humans to make ends meet, to survive from month to month, every month, year after year, for a whole lifetime. Those hugely imbalanced economic problems are a result of the underway politics. The justice that serves every degree of the deceptive corruptions that the people actually have little to no immediate control over. Such exasperating hierarchical dilemmas. Those corruptible systems operate to serve profit motive agendas that technically are paid for by energy-producing money, collected as taxes and wealth from natural resources. How otherwise is any governing system funded, if not by the constant relative abundance and human labor? We rarely correlate equanimity with supporting governmental expenses, everything that must be paid for with money in coin, paper, numbers on a ledger, sums in bank accounts, borrowed and lent, paid and unpaid, relative to abundance, much less the frame of evolvement that is also knowable as the equanimity model, Synergetics 443. In other words, the concept vector equilibrium is reduced to a single name identity that employs the word equanimity and permits our individual conceptual reasoning faculty of systemic thought to employ the packaged word universe spelled in uppercase U. Synergetics 443.02. Without such a frame of evolvement, it may be impossible to get out of the unbearably disturbing systems that perpetuate the misguiding PRJWBCHM, politics, religion, justice, war, belief, complex, hierarchical matrix governing authorities. Those authorities continue rearranging corrupt scenarios with newly generated actors who eagerly join the invitation to play along. The latest waves of political actors include genuinely devoted people whose highest ideals fall in love with the self-governing concept as a republic, a democracy, a constitutional democracy, and elsewhere a parliamentary democracy, and various names for a similar concept, most of which originated hundreds of years ago by those who escaped and freed themselves, and hopefully their future generations, from the courts of kings. The fight for promised freedom continues with succeeding generations. Along the way, the predominating politics overpowers any other intention as the political game plan's hierarchical matrix succeeds by attaching its power to self-deluding legislatures, justice systems, attorneys, judges, money-making promises, punitory solutions to every degree of systemic imbalances. It is as if the human species exists on Earth as mentally disturbing experiments where insane disproportions justify the power to keep everyone off balance to incorrigible degrees that are entrusted to the political system as treatable, punishable, commendable, mendable, or unmendable subject entities. The lifetime of such subjects is a property of the authority that writes the rules and laws according to the interaccommodating technologies powerfully positioned controlling forces that the people depend on in relative ignorance how the entirety operates. When those systems operate politically, it can work against humans on Earth. Logically, human intellection as a function of omnirational universe's eternal omniscient mind is designed to discover the most economical ways systems can behave in universe relative to unity and self. This requires conceptual models of the constant relative abundance, equanimity, and awareness of the vector equilibrium as zero tetrahedron, Synergetics 441. Instead of suffering through the predominating negative, perpetually distorted PRJWBCHM ad infinitum, our synergetic objective intellect as a function of universe is newly informed of the vector equilibrium's mildly distorted to asymmetrical limits. This is as nature pulsates positively and negatively in respect to equilibrium, and consciousness evolution's awareness that systemic thought, unless otherwise programmed askew, is also a conceptuality of a symmetrical tetrahedron. When intellect learns of cogitating reliably in respect to equilibrium, logically there must be a conceptual model of vector equilibrium to which systemic thought's cogitations refers the upsets of its anticipatory mind. The anticipatory mind is designed in generalized principle, integral to the information gathering cosmic to local problem-solving functions, entrusted thus to tuning in relevance. Also, we are tuning out irrelevance in the process. We are tuning in and tuning out wave magnitude frequencies of the electromagnetic spectrum, the octave systems, by consciousness evolution. This includes our individually informed awareness of the only two possible covariables that are operatives in all universe design, which is modification of angles and frequencies. To make any conscious connection between all these newly informed cosmic to local responsibilities correlates to resonance and the vector equilibrium. Such a conceptuality would be impossible for the human imagination's inherent abilities without awareness of vectorial geometry. This awareness occurs uniquely and differently to every human, whose lag rates between apprehension and comprehension are different from one moment to the next and from one human to another. The generalized principles are eternal. Everywhere the interaccommodating, self-regenerating pattern integrity that does not derive from politics, religion, justice, war, the belief complex's hierarchical matrix. Logically, an omnicomprehensive matrix of the eternal mind must be discoverable by the human mind in omnirational universe. Otherwise, there could be no imaginable escape from systems that the human imagination invented as solutions to millenniums-old problems that continue to enslave our humanity to such inherited educated ignorance. Fortunately, in our Buckminster Fuller's Synergetics, we are now apprised of the eternally regenerative vector equilibrium, the equanimity model, as our 21st century frame of evolvement. To be continued in the beginning, 12. Thank you. Reference Synergetics Table of Contents, Synergetics Figure Index, Synergetics 440.04, Synergetics 441, Synergetics 443 through 443.02.